maybe I'm just gonna do a quick introduction of you. Not that I know much. You're gonna talk about yourself. I know your work mostly through social media. So do you wanna just quickly tell me how did you start taking pictures, and also why did you decided to share them in the first place?
At the time, I was living abroad in a very exotic and unknown place to me, which was really colorful and just full of visual stimulations. And I've always been a visual person. At the time, I was doing something totally different.
And where was
I was
that?
doing design. That was in Mexico.
Okay, nice.
Uh, I was doing web design. I was a freelancer, and with my first one contest on 99 designs, I felt like $400 is so much money, and I should buy something for myself because I deserve it. So I went to this random camera store, and I'm not sure why I was drawn to the analog camera, but I just went there and I told them that I want the cheapest analog camera. And after some bargaining, I got one for $45, and to this day, I still use it. I love it. It's my baby.
Nice.
So,
And now you're in the Czech Republic. How did you get from Mexico to the Czech Republic?
well, when I was in Mexico, it was a period of my life when I was mostly just searching for my thing. So I traveled for 4 years with my then boyfriend around Mexico, around Southeast Asia. And it was, I would say that I was mainly just exploring. And this is how I got into photography. And I decided that I would like to study something connected to that. But I actually study cinematography, not photography.
Okay.
um,
But you
and
do
the
some
reason,
work, like you do some side projects, like video stuff, don't you?
honestly, I only started uh, shooting when I got here. I hadn't had any previous experience with film or videos. And the reason why I applied to cinematography and not photography is because I didn't really want to sell my soul to be a, I don't know, product photographer.
Mm.
Like I'm drawn to maybe some editorial work. I'm interested into that, but I have been traumatized with past events. So I felt like if I study photography and if I pursue that as my professional
Mm.
uh, career, I would be selling myself. And I had this experience with design, and I know that if I make a logo and I'm like, oh, it's brilliant, it has this, I have this still to the idea of this company and turned it into this piece of art, and it has so many um, dimensions to the meaning. And then they said, the client says, uh, that looks good, but can it be pink? And can we put a little heart there? And I just knew how that felt. So I felt like if this happens to my photos, that would crush me. Yeah. Wait, what was the question?
No, no, yeah, I think I asked you, okay, you were in Mexico, how did you get in the Czech Republic? But then we went into
Oh,
like the cinema stuff, and
oh
but
yeah.
yeah, no, no, it was really fun. And I feel like a lot of people had that experience with design, I feel, because I studied graphic design in the first place. So a lot of people from my class, I had a very similar conversation. And I think that's why I also choose to paint for the same reason, because I get
Mhm.
to do what I want.
Well, I think once you have a certain reach, once you're known, people come to you because of what you do.
Like your
And
stuff. Yeah.
well, the thing is, I'm not really pushing photography to make money for me in any way. Like I've made prints once, and I don't know, I'm more interested into mm, I don't know, maybe exhibitions, but the main thing is that I'm doing it for me, and I would kind of like to keep it that way unless someone comes to me and they say, I love your style and I'll trust you completely with what you make.
Mm.
Um, so
So
that
you
has happened
see,
once.
oh
Um,
yeah,
yeah, and I didn't expect to get money out of it. It was this um, Bulgarian influencer called Bibons. Shout
oh,
out to her. She just agreed to a photo session, and we went and we shot some great photos. And I got paid after, which I didn't even expect. It was so random. That was great.
nice. So you see it more as a method of expression rather than a product to sell.
Yeah, definitely.
And there is, I would say, a healthy dose of naked bodies in your work. Um, how did that happen?
Um, Rather naturally, I think. Um, I guess having the circle of people that I have, it's it sometimes happens that I'm in situations that are intimate, and my friends wouldn't mind if I took a photo, and they trust me. So sometimes it's initiated, but sometimes it's completely random and spontaneous. So I just love the human body. I love the curves. I love the scars. I just like skin. And naked skin speaks a lot in a picture, I think. And it doesn't always have to be sexualized, I guess. Because naked body is just the way we came into this world and the way we're gonna go. I think it's completely natural. And of course, you can always find a sexual subtext if you're looking for it, but I think generally nudity doesn't have to be necessarily sexual. Yeah, I think I drifted away once again.
No, no, it was great. I just I'm usually like a big talker. So the podcast is also exercise for me to let people talk and not interrupt them. So I try to give like a little pause. So I'm not always like jumping and saying something because I'm a bit that type of person. And depending on the other person, I sometimes become just overtake the conversation. The first time that you uploaded something, let's say, a bit more provocative, did you, how did you feel? Did you question it? Were you like, should I do it? Should I not?
um, Actually, yes, because it's a photo of a couple and the guy is eating out the girl, but you cannot see that in the photo. Like when you look at the photo, you just see some curves and some hand that's grabbing something.
Mm.
And it's underexposed analog photo, very grainy, with really strong. Um, the colors are really strong, so you don't really see what's there when you first look at it. You can kind of have to examine it to actually see what's going on. So I saw this photo and I was like, wow, that's so beautiful and gentle. It's a bit, but Instagram wasn't as strict at this time. This is maybe 2018, a few months after I got the camera. So I remember mm, pondering on the idea of uploading this photo. And at the end, I decided to upload it. It exploded. People loved it because it was gentle. It was not dirty sexual. It was, but it got deleted by Instagram. It started this fight with Instagram. It started at the
Okay,
very
so
beginning.
it already happened with the first photo.
Yep.
That's honestly like a bit discouraging. I,
Yeah,
I
I was so pissed off.
yeah, I'm surprised to persevere.
Mm, well, yeah, it got deleted, and I don't know. I have some conspiracy theories that people were reporting me, um, and I don't really get that. But there's the other part where it could be just the algorithm recognizing certain body parts. Um, so I don't really know how to go about it. I don't like putting, I don't know, black squares to censor out
Hmm.
breasts or something. So right now I'm at a very stale spot where I haven't uploaded any photos for 3 or 4 months because I don't see the point. um, it's I don't get the same dopamine rush for some reason.
But well, if you don't share them on Instagram, have you thought about a different platform, a different way, a different, I don't know, maybe?
Um, I have considered certain platforms. I remember that maybe 3 years back, an application came out, which was basically Instagram, but you can filter who sees what. Once you get to a few thousand people, how do you filter them? Um, Anyways, this app didn't really kick it out, so I think it's. I don't even remember what it's called. Then I've considered Flickr, but who uses Flickr?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. I use Instagram as a sort of just portfolio, honestly, and I arrange my photos in a certain way so they correspond thematically or color wise. So I don't really like to leave out some photo when it fits thematically into this series. And yeah, I would just like to have the freedom to put in there whatever I like. So I don't know what the alternatives there are that are actually as widely used as Instagram.
Well, you
Because
can
the
have
point.
Patreon. I don't think there is any limitation on the type of content you put, as long as it's already stated that it's 18 plus. I think, well, that was my first idea when, like, obviously OnlyFans, but I don't think that really suits
Yeah.
what you're doing. But other than that, honestly, that would be my only other idea.
Well, I honestly have considered that, but there's this other point of view. Um,
Where
I'm
you
not
want people
sure
to
I
see your
want.
stuff.
No, no, no. I'm not really sure on the legal side of things. And after all, if I use Patreon, it would be mostly for the edgy slash erotic photos
Hmm.
that can't really be shown anywhere else. Um, or some, I don't know, BTS insights or whatever. But the point is that I'm not sure if it's ethical to use people that I generally don't pay, because
Hmm.
these photo sessions are just little love babies that happen,
Hmm.
and I'm not sure I want to be paid for that,
Yeah, no, I definitely understand that.
because it's not me, it's not my body. It's
Yeah, it's someone else's body, yeah,
yeah.
definitely. And it's also a bit like people paying to see the naked stuff. Like, is it, see what I mean? It's kind of, yeah, it's
Mm,
this moral issue. Like, is it art? Is it something else? What am I looking at? See what I mean?
mm,
And yet, do you
yeah.
think that social media now obviously limits you and many other people? And do you think that kind of helps keep our body a taboo subject?
Eh,
Or do you think
when
it's
you,
taboo in the first place?
well, it's certainly, to a certain degree, it is a taboo, even though we see it on any Hollywood film or advertisement of sunglasses that are worn by a half-naked lady.
Yeah,
Like,
but it's always kind of in the same context,
mm-hmm,
in this kind of over sexualized, young, photoshopped people.
yeah, I yeah. Well, I don't know. I've been looking at some movies from the 60s, and now we say that we sexualize women, but the extent that the female body was sexualized at this point is just crazy. Like literally any shot that had a woman uh, was just an extremely sexualized one. It's crazy. So I think nowadays it's a bit more like it's when it comes to sexualization of the female body, it's a bit more relaxed, but still, um, yeah, it still exists. And I get it. Like this platform is used by children, and uh, I'm not sure if that should be the case, but certainly it is. But there's also this other side that there are literal porn stars that have accounts with extremely obscene content, like uh, obviously very, very sexual. And they just put little stars where, mm, you know, on the key spots. Yeah, so my question is how useful is this censorship when uh, it censors art but not porn stars? So it's uh it's
Yeah, no,
funny.
it is a great question. And yeah, I was thinking about that because when I was getting ready for this conversation, I kind of looked into actually their community guidelines and what exactly do they say. And they do specify that they won't ban art, but then who is judging what's art? Like,
Yeah.
see what I mean? Like, it's you, a social media platform that has the authority to choose whose work is art and whose not.
Well, I'm actually very surprised by that. I remember reading their guidelines after um hundredth photo was deleted, and I don't think I remember such a thing. I remember seeing that if any part of breasts or us are in the picture, it goes no matter what it is.
Mm. Well, I do think that in the last couple of years, they faced a lot of backlash from artists. So I do believe that they included that maybe for
Mm,
legal reasons. But again,
mm,
you know, how can you go and police, oh, this is art and this is not art? I mean,
yeah.
it kind of comes to like a bigger question, you know? And just another thing I really wanted to share with you, it just popped up on my feed maybe like a couple of days ago, so it was perfect on time. It was about like they've done research on the AI. I think it was actually on Instagram, and how it over sexualizes women's bodies over men's bodies. So they were just taking pictures of men and women in not any sexual context, like let's say in the gym or whatever. And
Hmm.
the woman's photo in the same context would be considered sexual. So it will kind of get shadow banned, you know, without
Wow.
seeing anything. We're talking about like, I don't know, like a sports bra. See what I mean? Like there
Yeah.
is absolutely no sexual context when the man's picture, like he's half naked, like posing, see what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
and this is not considered sexual. So it's also about not only the community guidelines, but how the algorithm is trained and whose opinion the algorithm is trained on, because the algorithm is bad. I don't believe that. It's just a fucking code, And this is where I think, see what I mean? Like, we program society to see it this way. Because if you show me that photo, I don't have any sexual response to it, and then someone else decides that no, that's overly sexual and needs to get banned. And the whole idea of the research was that this impacts women's business,
Mm-hmm.
everything that's related to women. And yeah, that at the end it hurts us so much more,
Yeah, yeah. I mean, these algorithms are made by someone. So at the end of the day, it's just someone's opinion that's being applied to everyone who uses this platform. Um, and I'm not sure what can we do about it because I have not been using this app for 3 months and I'm not missing it. But I feel like if a lot of people, okay, maybe there's something that could be done. If a lot of people just deactivate their accounts, maybe Instagram would notice. Um, but I don't know who would be willing to do that, especially if they're using it for work. It's just all really subjective. Who decides what's art and how to go about it?
Yeah, well, even in the traditional arts, there's so many examples where the naked body was too much even for there.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So yeah, I think this was always a borderline, and it's kind of always pushed back and forth and back and forth. Because yeah, you were saying, in the movies in the 50s, like, it's very different. Like, now, if someone makes a movie like this, it will be canceled online.
Actually, my point with the 50s movie, it's it's called Viridiana. It's a film by Louis Buñuel, and it's about a nun that goes to visit her uncle before she gives her vows as a nun. And once she does, she will stay in this institution forever. So she goes to visit her uncle one last time, and he just wants to marry her. He drugs her and puts her into a wedding dress because he wants to marry her, and he buries his face in her breasts. And, a lot of similar scenes. So I think that right now we're kind of numbed to this type of uh, provocation because we've seen countless films where it's just full of half naked women. And I feel like we're numbed to that. But if you go back in time in the 50s, that's even before the hippie movement and uh, before people were generally so open minded. I imagine how contradictory this was at that point. And the whole point of the movie was to actually show how she's just sexualized by the whole society. Yeah, I recommend this film, by the way.
Well, I was looking at something about Marilyn Monroe, which is maybe a little bit later, but it was kind of an essay talking about, yeah, her over-sexualized image and how she didn't choose that. she kind of leaned into it because that was more or less the only way for her. And
Yeah.
yeah, this was all created for by men for men.
Mm-hmm. Yep. Well, I think these images, precisely these images that are created by men, influence so many girls at a young age. And I don't know, I honestly think that the body image of the woman is just defined by men's opinion to such a big extent. And it's not about you know, being healthy, or I don't know, promoting a slim figure. It's about this grandomaniac trend that we have right now with the Kim Kardashian body type and all these fillers that are just put everywhere. I feel like they're there just to please the male gaze. And actually, something that I'm trying to do with my photography is to capture the beauty of anybody and to kind of break the stereotype that a body has to look a certain way in order to look good. Like, for example, uh, my best friend slash wife, who's this extremely enigmatic person, and she just has a particular energy that I love to capture over and over again. She's just a normal person with a normal body, with all the little, mm, how do you call the excess skin around your hips? In Bulgarian, it's called love handles. I'm sure it's not what it's called, but it kind of sounds cool, no?
Yeah, it does. It does. There is a yeah certain mystique and appeal to it. Yeah, without being
Mhm.
overly sexualized as well.
Well, it is a bit sexual, but it's kind of adorable as well. Anyway, so my point was that um, she has very cute little love handles, and I have this really favorite photo of her. It's a black and white photo where she's just sitting naked in the garden, and you see it's a body, but it's just so natural and feminine and beautiful. Um, and I think that people generally manage to see what I see in these photos, like, because I don't think I'm photographing just, your typical beautiful girl. Uh, and I think people are finding beauty in what I find beautiful. So this gives me, I wouldn't say hope, just makes me feel understood, I guess.
Mm. Yeah, maybe purpose to a certain extent to show
Yeah,
the body
yeah.
in a different way because we need those type of representation to also kind of stop being triggered because at the end I do believe that because we show naked bodies only in this very sexualized context, it becomes a trigger for some people.
Mm-hmm.
So it's important, yeah, to create space where it's also women portraying the woman body because I don't feel like we have enough of that. And it's gonna be necessarily different than what a man sees. And I'm not saying that men are forbidden to take pictures of naked women, obviously, but it's just the point of view I think you're gonna have towards a woman would always be different than a man. Um,
Sure, I think to a certain extent that's true, but honestly, there are some male photographers that manage to do that as well, like to keep the sexual out of the photo. And yeah, for example, if you search for Rambo Rattle on Instagram, um, you're gonna see a lot of half naked women, but in my opinion, it's not sexual. His photos are very energetically charged, very moody, very dark sometimes. And I think he's a great example for a male artist who's not, who's not working through his male gaze, I guess. With which I'm not implying that he does have a male gaze. um,
Yeah, I guess it still depends who are you as a person and what you wanna express through the art.
yeah. On the other side, you have those male photographers and who just shoot uh, naked women all the time. That's the only thing they shoot. The photos are really basic. I don't see any art in that. It's just naked or half naked women that are sexy and obviously beautiful. But I don't think it's enough to have a camera and a beautiful model to have a good photo. And it's full of those. Also, don't get as much deleted as mine.
Mm, yeah, because they have a little tiny bra
Mm,
over this.
yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I I'm a bit jealous of those people that just freely upload whatever they want. I'm right now. I'm in this period of talking myself uh, to start using Instagram again because I have a lot of wonderful photos. Um, but I don't see the point of it, honestly. it's I'm still struggling. Like on one side, I want to update this online portfolio of mine with my recent work. On the other side, it's I see it as a waste of time and energy. I don't know.
Well, from someone who enjoyed your work, I don't see it as a waste of energy, obviously, because I get to see your stuff. So if that's good enough for you as a reason to come back, because I'm sure I'm not, obviously not the only person. Yeah, but I do think that the stuff that you do are important. So definitely don't let social media discourage you from sharing your work.
Thank you. That's much appreciated. I kind of need to hear this these affirmations uh, right now. But actually, yeah, when I reached out to people, uh, it seemed like it seemed like I was missed. So I had this one day when I almost uploaded something, but then uh, it's also a lot of work, by the way, because I'm just arranging uh, all these photos. So for the people that are listening to this, my account is Ivana.rgb. You'll see that there are a lot of blank photos, and then behind them are hidden some photos. But the whole point is that I think each photo needs space to breathe, and it's like when you go to an exhibition. Uh, the artist usually arranges the work of art in a way that they see appropriate, and I don't see why uh, Instagram shouldn't be used in the same way. So basically, I arrange these photos in different shapes and forms and themes. And it's a lot of work to figure out this arrangement and then to do the graphics. So, the white photos are not just blank white photos, but there's something on it. So it doesn't look like a glitch in the system. And also, I think this could annoy people when they're scrolling. Um, but yeah, it's just a lot of work. And when a photo gets deleted, it fucks up
Except the
the
whole.
whole thing. And then I have to delete more photos so it can make sense, at least a little bit. So yeah, I recently, not recently, but a few months back, I had 3 or 4 photos, not 3. Uh, yeah, I don't know, a few photos deleted, and it just mixed up my whole feed, and I was so pissed off. Uh, so yeah, that's another reason why I'm discouraged, because I put so much effort into the way I present uh, my work, and then someone just decides it's porn and deletes it and fucks up everything else. So yeah, but I'll get back eventually.
Do you have like a backup account?
I created one. As of this point, it has 0 photos, but the next photo I upload will be co-posted. I don't know this. There's an option to post one photo on both accounts.
Oh yeah, really?
So yeah, like it's a code. What is it called? It's called it's not co-working. It's like co-posting. A
Okay.
lot of pages that share people's work. They usually post it together.
Yeah.
So I'm
Yes.
considering this. I'm not sure if it's wise, because if my account gets deleted, um,
They'll be
my new
linked.
account will be linked to it. Yeah.
Mm.
So I'll have to research that. But I think it's a good way to help people find me if I get deleted.
Mm. And do you think you're shadow banned? Do you think your posts have the same reach as they had before?
At certain points, I do get that feeling, because well, I think generally on Instagram, naked photos of any sort are very just likable by people. People just love nudity, and that's that. So it very often happens that mediocre mm, photo that has some sort of a half naked body will get really popular when, let's say, uh, landscape photo that's abstract and a lot more has been put into it wouldn't make it to, to so many people. So I'm not sure if it's shadow ban, this exact thing. It's probably just one, if at the beginning a photo is doing well, it's pushed, and if not, it's hidden. But there's suddenly been situations where I definitely don't reach as many people, because yeah, I have definitely been shadow banned now that I think about it. But there's this other thing. As I mentioned, I post these white posts that are just blank on the first page, so I don't think that's generally really good for the algorithm. Um,
Well, I'm not sure about that because on Instagram now with the carousels, if you scroll past the first post and you don't go to the second picture, it will show you again, just starting from the second picture. And And then if you don't scroll that, it will show you again the third picture.
Uh-huh.
Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah. I had no
So,
idea.
and also from my point of view, like I think that if someone follows you, I don't know, or followed you for, I don't know, more than a month or two, they get it. They know what's happening. See what I mean? They don't get, like, they know that they have to scroll.
Yeah,
They're
that's true.
excited because they're
I make
gonna
my
find
followers
something.
work for it.
Yeah, exactly. And it makes it, I don't know, it changes the experience. Like I would say that maybe like one of the reasons why you stood out from like all the people that, because I do follow a couple of other Bulgarian photographers that, let's say, have a similar aesthetic, you know, but
Mhm.
you stand out just because you do this weird thing. See what I mean? And there is a reason behind it. That's the other thing that you also share, you know, like why you do it, and you remind people why you do it, and you're like, don't get pissed, you have to scroll, you know. So yeah, it makes the whole thing like, I don't know, I'm your friend and I know your little secret. I don't know, it makes it way more engaging, definitely.
Yeah, okay.
As someone who, like, it's not in your, I don't know, close circle of people, like I don't feel like I have to hype you up about this. Like it's just my honest opinion.
Well, thank you. Actually, some of my closer friends were like, this is really annoying.
Okay.
Um,
Okay, that's fun.
so yeah, when you present it like that, it actually maybe sounds more engaging than I thought.
Yeah, it's always the different stuff. Like, and then that's why I guess when we're artists, you know, we want to be unique, we want to be ourselves, because
Hmm.
you can never win at someone else's game. Like, you need to create your own game, and you're always going to be the best at your own game because you created it. So I feel like that's more or less part of your, yeah, just part of your image as an artist on this social media. And it can also be fun, I don't know, if you make an exhibition to kind of make a reference to this, you know, for people that followed you, they'll be like, cool, I know what the reference this is, you know. So yeah.
Well, actually, um, my exhibitions have always been very interactive. Um, First one had an outer circle and an inner circle. On the outer circle, it was photos that could be seen by anyone who walks by. But to see the intimate photos, you had to go inside. Um, it's like a little room made out of photos. And then on the next exhibition, I literally printed photos on 2 meter tall curtains, and behind the curtains was the actual stuff. So now that I think about it and retrospection, I think I'm always looking for this interaction that you have to work for it to see to see that.
Yeah, no, I can definitely conceptually link the both ideas of, yeah, you have to. There is the stuff that you see, and there is the stuff that you see when you look.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Yeah.
that also in your work in general, you know, it's not like sometimes I'm not sure what I'm seeing until I engage with it. So there is this idea of like, it's not served to you on a silver plate, you know, you have to maybe, yeah, cook it yourself to understand what is it. And I think that's important in art. I think that's what makes art different than, you know, what we talked about before, than just a picture of a naked woman. And it's beautiful just because it's a human body. Yeah, it's not because there is something else in it. So yeah, for me, the art, it's, yeah, this very, there is something, there is just something more to it.
Yeah.
If you're still here, thanks for tuning in. This is Don't Snooze the Muse. See you next time.